Hello beautiful people, Kyla Givehand here, welcoming you back to my channel and to this new series, Fountain Pen Friday. I am doing a mini series inside of the Fountain Pen Friday series where I am releasing 5 videos that talk about my 5 favorite fountain pens for beginners. This originally was filmed as one long video and I realized that it was just way too long. So I decided to release one a day over a series of days. Okay, lovelies, and here we are at pen number 1. I know many of you have been waiting to see exactly what pen I would put in the number 1 position, and I'm sure some of you won't be surprised at all that I've chosen the pen I've chosen for pen number 1, but also that there's more than one pen in the number 1 position. So stay tuned and I'll meet you on the other side. Okay, lovelies, welcome back for the number 1 spot in my favorite fountain pens for beginners. This one is one that I love because I am a collector of fountain pens. I love to collect fountain pens, and any pen that has things like special editions and limited editions and lots of colors, I love that. It's a collector's dream. So for me, the Lamy Safari is that pen. And this was started for me by a student who went on a vacation with her family to Belize, or it might have been Brazil. It was either Brazil or Belize. And she brought me back this blue Lamy Safari. Now I have to admit, today I'm not a fan of a blue pen. I don't really like blue pens. But I cherish this pen because she gave it to me. Because it was the very first Lamy Safari I ever had. And I just love it. So I want to talk a little bit about this Lamy Safari and why I love this pen so much. It is such a easy, accessible pen. It is definitely a student, beginner kind of pen, but also those of us who've been writing with fountain pens for years still love these pens as well. It is, this pen has been around since the, I don't know, maybe the early 80s or so. It just has, I love the clip on the pens, and sometimes the clip will be colored. Most of the times they're black, but sometimes you'll have a silver clip, or for in the case of this one, an orange clip. Or in the case of this one, a red clip. These all have silver clips. This is not, I'm going to take this one off and move that one to the side. I'll mention it in a second. Or in some cases, the newer ones, the most recent Lamy Safari in the line, has a clip that is the same color as the body of the pen. And this is the one we're going to fill today in a moment here. But the thing I love about it is that the clip is what they call spring-loaded, right? But it still is a really great great clip, right? It's sturdy, it's strong, it can hold on to things, it clips onto notebooks and things, and I love that about it. The thing people don't often talk about with the Lamy Safaris is that they're just not, it's not just fountain pens. The Lamy Safari is a brand. Then you have the fountain pen is one model of that brand, and then you have a ballpoint, and then they do a mechanical pencil, and then they also have a roller ball. So most of these that you see here come in, you potentially could get this teal pen, this aquamarine pen, in this one happens to be a fountain pen, but you could also get this as a mechanical pencil, a roller ball, or a ballpoint. So people often say Lamy Safari and they just immediately go to fountain pens, but they actually are a little bit more than that. What I really love about them, and I'll use this one as the example for now, one of the many things I love about these pens is the stainless steel nibs. They are such good nibs, and you can swap them out. I can take this medium and change it over with another pen that is maybe a stub nib. That's the other thing I love, is that the nibs come in so many different widths, and they even have a nib that is catered to left-handed fountain pen users. So for instance, this one is a 1.9 nib. Look at the square on that, right? Creates a beautiful calligraphic line. This one is, needs to be cleaned. That's just a standard medium. And then I think I probably have a 1.1. That's a medium. So somewhere in my batch is a 1.1. I've got so many of them, sometimes I lose track of what is what. But you can get, my point is, you can get all different nib sizes, which I really love. And then I think this is the first fountain pen I ever owned that had a that had this triangular grip section, right? Where, and I don't know that that's really triangular, but it, again, for beginners, it shows you where to place your fingers, right? Where to put your fingers. It's also really helpful for people who write long, like if you write longhand and you're writing and journaling for a long time, it doesn't stress your hands out. It doesn't tire your hands out. The other thing that's I love about them is the ink window. They all have a little ink window where you can see how much ink you've got left in your cartridge and or converter. And so that's a really, I like that feature. And then in terms of the body, most of them are made with a plastic that comes in a ton of colors. And then these little things are like chrome plated. The clips are chrome plated, with the exceptions of the ones that are, it's probably painted chrome, like a chrome with paint on it, colors on it. So there are some beautiful colors, every color in the rainbow. I tried to put mine in order of Roy G. Biv, but I don't have a green one yet. At some point, I'm like, there has to be a green one that they're going to do. And not some point, I know they've made a green one. I just don't have it, other than, you know, these kind of, this is more of a blue, but this sort of minty green. So, and I know there was like a neon green out there at some point. I'm not really a neon person, so yeah, I didn't do that. But the latest ones, this is one of the latest. It's in there, what they call the Safari Candy special editions. They made 3 for the year of 2020. And last year they did 3 that they called their pastel macaroons, I think they call them maybe. And these were the 3 from 2019. And so this one is the aquamarine. There's a purple that is violet, all purple. The whole pen is purple. The clip, everything's purple. And then one that's mango, which is yellow. And so that was the special edition. And so for people who are in love with like collecting and like to collect pens, and then the price is great as well, right? Because this pen ranges anywhere, depending on who you buy it from, anywhere from $21 all the way to $30, depending on which store you use or which shop you purchase it from. So let's talk about the filling of these pens, how we get ink in them. And before I go there, I'm going to briefly mention the Lamy Vista. A lot of people think this is a clear demonstrator of the Safari, but it actually isn't. It's a little bit different. And one of the things I love about this Vista, and they call it Vista, see-through, like a Vista is a point where you can see everything, and so the clear demonstrator is it allows you to see everything. This pen has such a beautiful weight to it, and it writes like butter. This is my second one. The very first Vista that I bought, I actually bought secondhand from someone, and then I broke it. Somehow I slammed it in, don't even ask me. I think my bag got slammed in the car door, and yeah, the pen was in there, and so anyway, I broke it. I had to buy another one. It's not considered a Safari, even though it looks like them, and it's considered a Vista, the Lamy Vista. So I show that to you just so you know, if you see that one, but it functions and writes beautifully just like the Lamy Safari. So this is the one I'm going to be working with. Okay, so let's work with this one. This is the newest, one of the newest. I've had it for months and did not ink it up. So when you get them, they come in a beautiful box. Oh, it's not a beautiful box really. It's just kind of a box. It's pretty plain. It's not actually, it's nothing to write home about. It's just it's a paper box, pretty basic. Comes with, you know, well, it kind of comes like this. When you get it, you got it just in the box like that, and that's pretty much how it comes, just like that. Nothing fancy, nothing special. Because the pen is the superstar of this. The pen is the star of the show. It is not the box. Some companies, the box and the pen are the star of the show. But for this one, it is definitely the star of the show. So it comes with this little band on it. You do need to take that off. It comes with a cartridge. So that little band just comes off and you toss it, throw it away. It comes with a cartridge. Now Lamy, like Pilot, has their own cartridge system. And so they have proprietary cartridges that are specific to Lamy. And what I love about that is the rainbow. You can get every color possible, right? And they're pretty inexpensive to buy cartridge refills for them. So you literally could just, you can have any color you want. And so every time I buy one, and sometimes they have special colors, like this is a special color that goes with the mango, or maybe it's this one, I don't know. It's one of these two goes with the mango pen. And then I think it's one of these two goes with the aquamarine. I think it's this one that goes with the aquamarine. And then they had a petrol when they did the petrol pen. So when they release a pen, they try to release, not always, but there's a color that kind of goes with the pen. So lots of color options with the Lamy ink cartridges. Yes, there's also a Lamy converter. Let's see which one of these has a converter in it. Actually, I'm not sure. This one, yeah. So you can actually buy a Lamy converter. So if you want to fill it with other things, you can. You can also use the same method you saw me use with the syringe. So once the cartridge is empty, you can just refill it with whatever ink you want to refill it with. So I'm going to actually open this up and grab one of these. And it just, you know, all of the cartridges, any pen you use that takes a cartridge, the cartridge has a little piece here that has to be popped. And so you push it in until you hear the pop. Insert. Let's see. There you go. And with the Lamys, if you turn them, it's such a snug fit that if you turn it enough, it pushes it all the way. It goes ahead and pushes it through. Okay, let's grab, let's start here with a little, I like to do a little shake. And then just start sort of letting that ink, there it is, let that ink come out and flow out. And then once you have that, you do your little writing sample. Now the nibs are still nibs, not a lot of flex to them. You know, I like to do, when I want to get that little extra bit of ink, I just kind of swoop it and it'll do that, kind of flick my wrist, when I write, and it'll do a little extra ink on the page. But it's not a flex nib. And so still nibs typically aren't unless they specifically say they are. And so it's a good sturdy nib, really good for beginners. Not a lot of beginners can write with a flex nib or a nib that flexes. And that just means that, you know, the little tines here on the nib spread open, so to allow more ink flow when you come on the downstroke. But we are not, this is not that kind of pen. But these are good, sturdy writers. They are good for writing long periods of time. I love these pens so much. I cannot say enough about them. They are number one on my list for a reason. And again, I would say that the only thing that makes these pens precious to me is that they each have a story. Each one of these has a story. And so that makes them very special to me. It really has nothing to necessarily do with the fact that they are, because these are pretty much the same kind of pen that you know, if you drop it or break it, you might not be so sad about it, right? I, on the other hand, might, because I do have, you know, some that are the sort of hard to find ones that I love and adore, and, you know, make me happy. So, what else do I want to say? I will say, since you're looking at these, I will go ahead and say something about these three. These are the aluminum versions. And again, like I said, you know, I'm not really a fan of aluminum pens unless this section, the grip section, is not aluminum. And in this case, these are not. So these are the Lamy ALs for aluminum. Lamy AL. This was one of the special edition, the rose gold. Again, I'm not a fan of gold things, but I do like rose gold, and so I own that pen. And then this was one of the, I think, I don't know, maybe turquoise, I don't remember the name of this one, but again, I love the shadow nib, but also this nib is replaceable. I can change it out for other ones in the Lamy line. And then this one, and you'll notice that on the barrel of this one, there is no ink window. That is an instant indication that this pen is a rollerball and not a fountain pen. So, it's a beautiful, Lamy is a beautiful company. I love their work, their aesthetic, and their craftsmanship. It's a German pen brand, and I really do appreciate the attention to detail. I love the fun colors. I love that, yeah, that it's an affordable price, and that you have so many options. Okay, so those are my top 5. And of course, I already know some of you are going to say, well, Kyla, I can't believe you didn't talk about the TWSBI Eco. And so, of course, I'm going to bring up the TWSBI Eco as our number 6, sharing the number 1 spot with Lamy. And the reason is because for a lot of the reasons I said about the Lamy, I love the TWSBI. It is a beautiful writer. It is easy to write with. It's easy to come by, easy to find. All sort of different nib sizes. They release new colors all the time. Some limited edition colors, some, well, not limited edition, special edition colors. I love the TWSBI Eco, specifically is the one I'm talking about here. And I've got 3 of them here, white, teal, and the yellow. And I love this pen. It is a great everyday writer. It comes, now, the reason I did not put it on my initial sort of 1 through 5 list is because for some beginners, this pen is a bit of an enigma. And what I mean by that is it does not take a cartridge or a converter. It is what's called a piston filling pen. And so the ink fills into the body of the pen directly. That gives you more ink than you ever want to use. Okay, maybe not ever, but it gives you a lot of ink. You get a lot of ink in the pen. And I love that about these pens. I love that I can see my ink. So when I have a shimmer ink in there, I can see the shimmer in the pen. And I actually use these pens mostly for my shimmer inks because I love seeing that shimmer in the pen. And so all of these have a different shimmering ink in them. Again, like the, now the one difference is the Lamy pens are snap caps. The TWSBIs are twist, but they, you know, it's not, it's an easy twist. Right, couple of twists and it's off. I love that they are essentially demonstrators because you can see the whole mechanism of the pen. You can see how the piston works in the pen, right? And so it's just a It's a twist action, right? Pushes the ink up or draws the ink down into it. And so I love that. Now, one caveat to that is you have to know how to fill a piston, and you literally fill it the same way. You just imagine this is a big converter, and you lower the mechanism all the way to the top of the pen. You stick the pen into the ink and you draw up. You just rotate the bottom of the pen to draw the ink into the body of the pen. You wipe it off, clean it off, and it has the kind of material that wipes off beautifully, easily, and then you write with it. The three that I have that are the Ecos are, trying to remember, I think I have a medium, sometimes I can look at the nib and tell. This might be, one of them is a fine, I think, a medium, or wait, I have a medium, a broad, and then this is the 1.1. And so I'll write with that one just to, well, I'll write with all three so you can see the difference. So this is the medium. The other thing I love about this pen, see how I just picked it up and it instantly started writing? I don't have to charge it. I don't have to wait. It just starts writing. So the white one is the medium nib. The yellow is the broad nib. And the turquoise or the teal is the 1.1. So there are the three TWSBI writing samples, the medium, the broad, and the 1.1 stub nib, some people call it. And just trying to let you see some of the sheen on the inks, because that's why I use those inks. There's lots of shimmer in them. So the difference between a broad and a 1.1, I'm answering that now because I already know I'm going to get the question. So the difference is, and I'm just going to use my little syringe here as a pointer. The broad nib is going, well, you've got a medium, right? And it lays down a nice amount of ink. But a broad nib is going to lay down even more ink. Think of broad as bold, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay, broad is bold. The 1.1 nib is going to lay down a lot of ink, but it's going to have sharper edges. So broad will be more curvaceous and curvy. The 1.1 nib will be more sharp. Like you'll notice even here the sharpness of that line when it comes down. And so it just has a sharper line, and it allows more for calligraphy style of writing. Okay? Yes, I love these pens so much. Alright, so the other thing I'll say about the TWSBI, the box it comes in, comes with like a little paper sleeve, and then the box itself has instructions, and then it comes with a tool that helps you adjust whatever might need to be adjusted, right? So if you need it to, I can't really do it because my pens all have ink in them, but there is a point where you can, yeah, I better not play with that because my ink is going to squirt everywhere. But in the directions, they kind of show you what the little screwdriver is used for. This little wrench. I called it a screwdriver. Not a screwdriver, a wrench. And that is just used to sort of tighten things. You can use it for if somehow your ink gets in there and you need to clean it. It just lets you unscrew and screw. Now, I don't like to play with my pens in that way because I am not a pen a tuner. I don't tune my pens. I don't do any of that. If I want my pens tuned, I send them to somebody that knows what the heck they're doing. Okay. The other directions also show you how to fill the pen. And then you get a little bit of silicone grease here, which can be helpful if the pen starts to get tight in any way, or you find that there's any leaks happening. You can just swab a little bit of silicone grease and that like seals it. All of this can come out of the box, and then you have a box that you could use as a little pen or pencil case. Right? So it is multifunctional. So you could put, you know, I could probably get 2 of those in there, and maybe like that. Right? So I can get 3 pens in there. So it doubles as a little pen case, should you want to use it for that. That, my friends, is the TWSBI Eco. Lots of fun colors, always coming out with great colors. They're coming out, as of this video, they're supposed to be coming out in August sometime with a gray. And I am on a list somewhere, somehow, to try to get that pen. So I love a gray pen because it's so unusual. Okay, my friends, those are all the pens. So just to recap, the Givehand Shark or Swan, the Monteverde Monza, the Pilot Metropolitan in the Animal series or the Retro Pop, the Kaweco Perkio, the TWSBI Eco. I feel like I'm missing one. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is missing from this spot? Oh, the Lamy Safari. Hello. My favorites. My favorite of all the favorites. I put them all back into the container here. Alright, there we go. Givehand Swan or Shark, Monteverde Monza, Pilot Metropolitan in the Pop, Retro Pop, or the Animal series, Animal Print series, the Kaweco Perkio, Lamy Safari, and the Eco by TWSBI. Those are my top 5-ish fountain pens for beginners. All the links and details for how to find out more information about these pens and where to get them from appears in the description below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this Fountain Pen Friday. I'll see you next week. Make sure you get in on the giveaway, which is below. I am giving away a Kaweco Perkio in the Old Chambray, and I am giving away a Givehand Swan pen. Both come with inks. Both come with a little handmade journal filled with Tomoe River paper. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye. All right, beautiful people, thank you so much for joining me for this mini series inside of Fountain Pen Friday. I will be doing more mini series because there's so many different things to talk about in regards to fountain pens, so stay tuned for that. If you haven't yet, be sure to enter the giveaway. The only one that's still open is the one for the Kaweco Perkio Old Chambray. I do hope that you will be sure to follow me over on Instagram. Be sure to like and subscribe here, and stay tuned for more fountain pens. Thanks, and y'all have a beautiful, beautiful week.